as participants in their employer-sponsored retirement plans, figure out how to maximize that benefit. And through this time, I've talked to so many men and women and have listened to their concerns about uncertainty, fears, and not knowing what to do. I think there is, in general, a high level of anxiety around savings and investing topics. But I also have come to learn that women have some unique challenges in gaining confidence and control over how we feel and the actions we take around our money. So today I'm going to talk about some of these challenges and what it takes to help women understand the imperative behind owning their financial security. When I finish my remarks, I am going to have one very clear call to action for all of you. And it's a very simple, practical step that I know you're all going to be able to get behind, but I want you to listen for it. And if you'd like to join the conversation right now, we've started it at #OwnMyFuture. So let us know what you think about what that means to you. When I think about people that have influenced me on how I feel about my finances, I have to start with my dad. My dad was such a key force in my life. He was a wonderful guy. He drove a tank in Patton's Army in World War II and was always my biggest supporter. In fact, he was so sure that I could achieve anything. I sometimes believed it myself. And he was a complete gentleman. Never used harsh language around the family. We never heard him swearing at us or anything like that. Except there was one time, and I really remember this so clearly. It was just an average dinner we were having at home, and he was probably telling some story about his trips to Europe. He traveled a lot, so whenever he was home, it was always an occasion. And I happened to very innocently ask the question, "So, Dad, how much money do you make?" Well, his reply, and I remember it to this day, was, "That is none of your damn business." So I think I was about 10 years old, but I learned at a very young age, money is not something everyone is ready to talk about. It's hard to talk about money. Women especially don't like to talk about money. A major financial institution did a survey and they asked, how comfortable are you talking to your medical professional about the most personal details of your physical well-being? And 77% of women said, yes, I'm comfortable with that. But when they were asked how comfortable they are about talking to a financial professional about their personal finances, only 47 said they were comfortable doing that. Well, why is this? Money is difficult to talk about. It's an extremely personal topic. We don't like to go there because there's something judgmental about money. We don't like to share real personal details with those closest to us. And we've been raised to think it's a taboo subject. I certainly got that message. So women don't like to talk about money. And that's unfortunate because only 14% of us say that we're actually secure about our finances. That's just 1 in 7. I don't know how you all feel, but if someone were to ask you that question, and anybody would want to raise their hand and say, yep, I'm really secure about my personal finances. Anybody? Okay. Can't really see, so that's all right. So what can we do about this? You know, it's interesting that women use conversation with each other to solve problems. There has been so much wisdom that's been translated through the ages, from grandmothers to mothers to daughters to sisters to best friends. Women love to talk, and I think it's the way we actually learn who we are in the world, by talking to other women. And we talk about everything. We talk about our families, our children, shopping, our mothers, our in-laws, our bosses, our job, everything. We can talk about everything. Botox, but there is one topic we don't go to. We don't talk about our money. We don't share stories with each other about financial challenges our family may be having, or fear about really overspending, or that we just got a great stock tip from our financial advisor. We don't go there. That's not a topic that we think about or that we talk to each other about. And this is unfortunate because, as I said, women really have some very unique challenges that they need to think about. We know that there are 3 key gaps that prevent women from having an easier time with financial planning. So I'll run through these 3 really quickly for you. The first one is the gender pay gap. Okay, this is going to get you. Even still today, women are only being paid 78 cents for every dollar that a man is paid. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And there are other reasons that women's pay is sort of drifting down. It has to do with the fact that we peak our salaries much earlier. We don't get to that first managerial job as quickly. And then when we do, our ambition seems to sort of slide down. And we're not as anxious to continue to push for that next higher paying job. There are also more interruptions to our work life, usually for caretaking and family issues. I know I personally took 7 years off to start our family after our first child was born, and we had 3 more children, and I went back to work. And I was so fortunate I could do that in a job I really enjoyed and really liked. And of course, after about 6 or 7 months, I found out I was expecting our 4th child. But things always work out. But it's no surprise that with those kinds of interruptions to work life, women's Social Security benefits have generally been about 47% less, or excuse me, 27% less than men. There's also the investment gap. We don't run to investing as quickly as men do. And when we do, we focus on lower risk and lower the long-term return investments. We need things that are tailored for us and the way our income slows and peaks earlier. And fortunately, financial institutions are starting to pick up on this, and this is really helping us. And it's important because when women do engage with investing, they do as well and sometimes better than men. So maybe some of our discomfort is misplaced in this area. And the last one is the time gap. The time gap is that we still have a second shift effect. Women today, even fully employed professional women, are still shouldering by far the majority of household chores. And this is uncompensated work. So that means that work is not usually taken into account on our financial planning. So Prudential was so concerned about this, actually, when they looked at the research, that they built a tool, and this tool is the value of all you do. And it allows you to very easily calculate the monetary value of your basic household chores day to day. Because if those were being done by someone else, it would be compensated work. So we've got those 3 gaps that are really making this whole financial thing much more difficult for us. So we need to start talking about it. And we need to start thinking about it differently. You know, something very important may be happening in January 2017. It is entirely possible that there will be women leading 3 of the strongest and most important economies in the world: Germany, Great Britain, and the United States. This is absolutely historic and something we should really pay attention to because it shows how far women have really come. And there's more good news. 60% of women are in the workforce today, 40% of them in managerial roles, whereas in 1975, that was only 18%. Women are more likely to complete college and have graduate degrees. There are over 10 million women-owned businesses today, and that's 30% of all businesses in America. And maybe most surprising, well, not surprising, but really terrific, is that women control $11 trillion of the nation's investable assets. Now this is really something. So women are certainly coming a long way, but there are some other areas where we're not making up. For example, retirement balances are 30% less for women. And only 43% of us have life insurance. And those that do are usually very underinsured. So this is a real paradox. You have women going into retirement with only 2/3 the wealth of men, but they are most likely going to be living 6 to 8 years longer. And 80% of them are alone or single through the last years of their retirement. Now this is something that I have seen firsthand when I visit my mom. My mom lives in a retirement community in North Carolina, and she has a wonderful group of friends, and it's always very encouraging to go see them because they're doing so well. They're living such engaged, energetic lives, but they are alone. There really are no men in this group of friends that she has. And they know what I do, so I always ask them, how have you been able to sustain this lifestyle? How have you been able to keep it going all these years on your own? And their answers have always been the same. You know, my husband had a great pension. Or my husband really prepared for this. He didn't want me to have to worry. Or my husband sold his business and he invested very wisely. Now these women have had to sustain themselves for some time, and they've really stepped up and are doing quite well and are managing quite well. But I think how lucky they have been. I don't think we live in that world any longer. And certainly the kinds of pensions that would have sustained a lifestyle through a 20, 30 or more year retirement, regrettably, are disappearing every day. So what can women really do? We need to think about the way we relate to money. And we need to think about what that really means to us. My daughter had a college project, and she had to talk to an older woman about a number of topics. So she came to me, probably because she had been procrastinating, but I was happy to do it. And her question was, so Mom, tell me, how do you feel about money and power? And I really like a short answer. Okay, so money and power. Well, here's what I think. Women see money and power in terms of what it allows them to do for the people and things that they care most about in life. So that's my answer. And she came back to me and said, well, Mom, is that really what you think? And I said, well, yes, it really is. And she said, boy, you know, I really respect that. It was a rare moment. But I think it is true. I think that owning our financial security is so important, not just to us, but so many other people too. So I told you I was going to have one action step for you to take, one thing that was going to be very, very simple but effective. So before I tell you what it is, I want to set the stage. Do you remember a movie called Private Benjamin? It was about the most unlikely woman finding herself in the military. So Goldie Hawn had crossed paths with her tyrannical sergeant. And she was forced out of the barrack. She had to go marching around in the grounds outside the barrack. And it went on and on and on. She's marching around and around. And it gets dark. And it starts to rain. And it's muddy. And she's in these ugly, ugly clothes that don't fit and is completely miserable. And is lamenting about all the things she misses most in her past life. And finally, it culminates with a plea. I want to go to lunch. Now, we all know what she's really thinking is a lunch with girlfriends and preferably wine. Right? We as women crave these conversations that we have with the female friends in our life. It's how we relate to the world through each other, and I think they're so important. So here's my request, okay? We've got to back up on this topic of money. You know, everybody, assume your power stance, okay? Know your worth. Lean in to owning your financial security. But first, go to lunch. Make a date with one of your best friends, but go with an agenda. And on that agenda, have topics like this. How I feel about my current financial situation and my future financial security. What some of my biggest money challenges really are. And where will I go to get guidance and help if I want some? Topics like this, it may be one of the most important conversations you ever have with yourself and one of your best friends. And I'll tell you why it's so important. Because the people that we love most in the world are depending on us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. So this is now, we're going to have our panelists come out on stage, who I want to quickly introduce, to continue this conversation about some of the things that Jennifer pointed out. We have Sally Krawcheck. She is the CEO and co-founder of Alabest. Anna Falk, who is the manager. Oops, come on out. Every day in the news. And all of the amazing things she's doing for women. Anna Falk is the manager of empowerment.org, which is a big global platform around economic empowerment by UN women. And last, we have David Bach. He is a 9-time New York Times bestselling author. Automatic Millionaires series. So welcome, and Bobby, the moderator, we need her. Please welcome Bobby Rebell. She's the author of How to Be a Financial Grown-Up, Prudent Advice from High Achievers on How to Live Your Dreams and Have Financial Freedom. So enjoy the conversation.
All of these guys are doing, by the way, Jennifer, great speech, right? Especially, and Sally is in my book, as is David Bach, who only learned he was in the book yesterday. So this is an amazing panel. Before we start, I want everyone to take out their phones. So this is sort of against the rules. We're going to take out our technology. The hashtag for this, hashtag own your future. We want everyone tweeting, sharing, Instagramming, whatever, this panel and the rest of the day, of course. And I want you to share on social media, owning my future means. ... Fill in the blank, what it means for you. And we want to hear what it means for you, and hopefully this will be an interactive session. So, get on it. All right. So, Jennifer, you spoke so well about the different things that our financial future means and the discussions that we have to have. But it's important to know that it's not only what comes to us that we control, that we own, and Sally's upcoming book, Own It. It's also important the external factors that are sometimes beyond our control. For example, Jennifer, you spoke about the pay gap, 78 cents. How is that still true? So let's discuss, first of all, the wage gap, and the perspective from all of your work. What can we do to counteract it in the end?
Sure. Thank you so much. Maybe first I can put a little bit of a perspective in terms of 70% in the U.S. The U.S. is actually on the 45th place globally in terms of fighting the wage gap. We have the Scandinavian countries as the 4 first, and then the 5th is Rwanda, and then we have the US on the 45th space. But also for those here in New York, I'd just like to throw out as well that the smallest pay gap is actually in New York in the US, and the largest one is in Wyoming. So it does depend on
why that is.
I read a few articles actually about what it matters. I'm not going to put a statement here. Some articles talked about the conservatism, the religion, in terms of what is women's roles in society, whether you're staying at home. Of course, it depends also on the flexibility in the workplace. I don't know about Wyoming, I've never been there. But maybe they have a more conservative setting and in terms of women's role in the family.
Well, what can we do to counteract it? I mean, what can women do?
Well, so I'll start with what I talked about in Smart Women Finish Rich. It's a very hard thing to say, but the truth, it was brought up here, that the average woman takes between 7 to 10 years off for childbearing, or for also taking care of parents. And it's true for women and it's true for men that if you take 7 years off, or 8 years, or 9 years, or 10 years, you massively derail your earnings. So you derail your earnings from a work perspective, you derail your career, you derail your technology skills. And now it's not 7 years. In a lot of cases, if you just take a couple years off, this happens for men too.
The game is changing.
So you lose earnings. Again, you lose putting money into 401k plans, and you lose putting money in Social Security and pension plans. And what happens, and I hear this a lot in New York especially, is people will go and run the numbers and they'll say, well, by the time I hire a nanny, right, by the time I put my kid in daycare, by the time I pay for all these things, it's not worth it for me to work. It's a break even. And I had a recent conversation with a woman who was making $75,000 a year. She ran through the numbers with me. And I said, you're not thinking about this right. Because first of all, in the next 10 years, you're talking about $1 million of the income that you ultimately will be losing. Because you'll be getting raises, right, hopefully even more than that. You will have lost out on $100,000 that you could put into a 401k plan.
Exactly.
You will have lost out on Social Security. And in her case, she's actually come to the pension plan. So I think one thing that you have to know that from an economic perspective in a family, and a lot of men are choosing to take time off too, it's a huge financial decision to make. Are you going to take time off when you can have kids? But I have 2 kids, but when you take time off to have those kids, it has a huge economic impact. And that is not something that is actually talked about enough.
Yeah, and so
So that is very important. But I also, I acknowledge that, and that is a big deal. And we don't talk enough about the raises that are missed or the decline in income that women take after they have as little as a 1 or 2 year career break. That being said, let's stay on this issue for a moment, because the pay gap exists for the exact same job for a man and for a woman. What I'm really excited about is that over all these years, all we could really do was then go in and ask for the raise. And I don't know about y'all, but yeah, I'll go in and ask for the raise, but how much am I friggin' supposed to be making? What am I supposed to ask for? So the advice that I have is, first of all, what I think is really exciting is we have more resources and information now. You can go to a site like Comparably and look at what you should be making. You should go to Get Raised, look at what you should be making. And then my advice is to go in and be as quantitative about this as you can be. Here's what this job makes. What will it take for you to make this? Let's put some numbers on a piece of paper. I was fortunate earlier in my career, I was a research analyst. And so it wasn't, hey, you did a good job, or maybe you weren't supportive enough of your team members, or maybe you could have done this better. These soft things, that's where the gender biases come in. It's by having okay, how many clients should I bring in? Right? What kind of client satisfaction rating should we get? When is the project due? And proactively going in, the way to fight this is with the information, quantify and do it enough in advance so that when it comes around the next year, you've got that record of success.
So Jennifer, what about planning ahead? Are there things that you can do before you took a break? Did you plan ahead before the 7 years? Did you say it's going to be 7 years strategically?
No, I didn't plan for the first child, the second child, the third child, or the fourth child. I can't plan, that's true. No, we did not plan, and I have to say that I wish I had planned better. And I also think that I had some just terrific, great, good luck and fortune. Because when I went back to work with Prudential, actually, I was living in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And there were not a lot of job opportunities for a financial services marketing person in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, but there was a division of Prudential. And so I walked in the door to find out that they were looking for a marketing person. And I think they decided that I was there, I was breathing, and it was just a good opportunity. So I was lucky. I was very, very lucky. But I think if I had been living in other places in another time, it could have gone very differently.
I I also think you make your own luck at this time.
Good. No, I just wanted to add another dimension that I think we can also control a little bit ourselves. There's some research from India. In IT companies in India, they looked at the pay as the women and the men go into the companies, and they get the same salary. The entry level is the same. But the fact that men normally and young men have more mobility in terms of moving around from job to job, changing the town, because of women have more responsibilities and expectations to be close to the family, they are not changing jobs as often as they could. And the mobility factor, every time we get a new job, we do get a raise. And that is also something to keep in mind.
The other thing, the thing I feel excited about is, again, the impact of technology, right? So let's face it, guys. If we wait to be empowered, right, and the definition of empowerment is to be given power, we are on track for the last research report I saw, gender equality, pay equality in 118 years. There's a new report, I think it's further back, right? It's 108. It's some ridiculously
Not our lifetime.
period of time. So the other thing, so that's depressing. What's exciting is that we have more options. As mentioned, if you're going in for that raise now, technology is your friend, quantitative is your friend. But the other thing that's happening here that's exciting is you have the ability to start businesses in a way you didn't before. Very different from what it was 5 and 10 years ago. You have the ability to have a career trajectory if you don't want to start a business by freelancing part-time work in a way that you didn't before. So I think things are really changing. You know, I founded Ellevest, digital investment platform for women, and you know, we do the same basic things that the big financial services firms do. Merrill Lynch, which I ran, the platform cost $1.4 billion. Ellevest, we've put in place a platform for several $1 million. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but the change here is dramatic. And so what I'm excited about is if corporate America doesn't start to get it finally, then they will get hollowed out as we women go and form the companies at which we want to work and build the cultures in which we can be successful.
Remember that lovely
I think the important thing to say here, picking up what Sally just said, is that the entrepreneur of America today is a woman. So women are starting businesses at a rate of 3 to 1 versus men right now. I have office space and a WeWork space. There's 1.5 million square feet now of executive office space and WeWork spaces across the city. And the floor that I'm on is over half women. These are women just like you. Many of you are probably in this room starting your own business. And what I can tell you is that when you start your own business, the key thing, and this has been seen in a lot of research, is to not underprice yourself. Because so often women entrepreneurs will underprice their goods and services out of the gate. So going back to the research that Sally talked about, make sure you're talking to everybody when you start your own business and you price yourself at exactly what a male would price it or even higher. Because the marketplace pays you what you ask for when you're valuable.
All right, reminder on that note, hashtag own your future, everyone. And we want to hear owning my future means, and let us know. To Sally, let's go back to your business, Ellevest. You have so much data on women and their attitudes toward investing. I want to hear more about this. Why are women so intimidated by investing?
Because the industry does not do a good job for them. That's why. I mean, think about it. The industry, and I love the industry. I love the businesses I ran, Smith Barney, Merrill Lynch. That being said, what women report back is the industry has financial advisors, 86% male, on average in their 50s and up. I talked with one firm recently that has more financial advisors over the age of 80 than under the age of 30. Men leave their financial advisor at a rate of less than 2% a year if neither one of them die. And women leave that same financial advisor, I was saying up till yesterday, at a rate of greater than 70% in the year after their husband's death. I read a piece yesterday that said 80%. Women say, he doesn't talk to me, he talks to my husband. We did research behind the glass. That's what happens. The guys talk to the guys. And so she feels left out. The industry, war analogies, sports analogies, beat the market, outperform, pick the winner. CNBC is NFL Sunday. And the symbol of the industry is a bull. It's a phallic symbol. It's an anatomically correct phallic symbol. And somehow, so the industry comes at us very male, and then when we say, hey, I'm not going to invest, somehow it's our fault, right? We still accept these old myths. Women are not as good at math as men. Not true. As good or better grades. Women are not as good investors as men. Not true. Better or as good hedge fund managers, mutual fund managers, individual investors. Women are too risk averse to invest. It must be the uterus. There's something about it. No. Women are risk aware. We want to understand what our downside can be, and the industry talks to us in standard deviation. Men will invest through jargon they don't understand. They won't ask because they don't want to ask for directions, but they invest. Women fear jargon. We don't ask either because we don't want to bother. We say we'll go home and do the work, and then we go home, buy the book, and then 10 years passes, right? We also hear we need more hand-holding to invest. Patronizing. What we need is we need that jargon explained to us, translated into a we need a person. And the final one that shuts down all conversations is we need more financial education. Hard to say no to that, but so do the guys, and they invest anyway. So I know, just one more second. So we finally built Elevest, which asked, rather than continuing to say the industry is okay as it is, we'll just market to you. We actually, with Elevest, said we're going to build something that will take into account what we learned about women, including, as you mentioned, the fact that we live longer and our salaries peak sooner, into the investing program.
All right, Jennifer's been waiting patiently, and I love Elevest. I would say, I was telling you, I sent my daughter there, and I said, just keep going and keep reading. It'll sink in. But a couple of things that I left out, I think a big part of what Sally's talking about is the fact that women just don't like to talk about this topic. We don't enjoy talking about our money. And that is something we need to get over. In fact, there's only one topic that we like to talk about less, and that's spelled S-E-X. So that's how
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think we like talking about sex a lot.
So I've had 500,000 women go through my seminars. And over 1 million women have read Smart Women Finish Rich. And I spent 9 years working with women as a financial advisor. And so the mythology that women take longer to make decisions, I can tell you, having worked with women for 9 years as a financial advisor, it's simply not true. It doesn't take you longer to make decisions. Sally said when you ask questions, that part's true. The good news is you ask the questions. What makes it different with the difference with women versus men is that when women understand the facts about what they've invested in, you stay with the investment plan. And because you stay with the investment plan, you're actually, believe it or not, you're less emotional